wasn't just Chris Hayes. It was the entire establishment. It was many, many people that basically said Susan Sarandon is nuts. And what is wrong with her? She, as a woman, should understand the trials and tribulations that Hillary Clinton went through, and how can you not vote for her? And to equate Hillary with Trump is insanity. And they basically dismissed Susan as being a crazy person.
Yes. Yeah, it was, there was a couple of weeks there for sure when the nuts, oh, she's nuts, she's crazy.
And let's recount why they dismissed Susan Sarandon. Because Susan said that that Hillary Clinton is, she's a neocon, that she's pro-war, and that she has pursued a policy of destabilization and regime change after Henry Kissinger's, long-standing policy on foreign affairs, and that is a terrible thing for the world and for the U.S., and that Hillary Clinton takes way too much money from various special interests, and that she's basically a compromise bought politician. So for these comments, Susan Sarandon was derided as being a crazy person. Crazy Susan, mouthing off again. And yeah, so now what are they saying?
So now, and by the way, I was also, we talked about it on the show with Cenk and the main show about the people who, anytime you criticize Hillary Clinton, they would call you sexist, or they would say, oh, you're Bernie bros and misogynist. It was all the smearing of real progressives that drove me crazy. Hey, it's okay if you're going to vote out of fear. It's okay that you vote for Hillary Clinton because you're a fraidy cat, or that you're just blind to what's happening to the Democratic Party, or you're just a corporatist by nature, or you're kind of really a neocon anyway, but you're cool with the board. So if you're going to vote for Hillary, that's one thing. Not okay to smear a progressive when he comes along. And that's what I didn't like. And not only did they smear Bernie, but they smear Bernie's supporters, right? Which is the same thing they're doing to Jill Stein right now, okay? So they're really afraid, right? But now that Hillary is for sure the nominee and Bernie has endorsed her, now all of a sudden, those same people who wagged their finger at us and called us misogynists and called us sexist and called us crazy and nuts, now all those people are upset with Hillary too. I'll show you right now. I'm watching Chris Hayes, and he's got a panel with Joan Walsh, Sam Cedar, and two other people I don't even know who they are. They're all supposed to be good liberals, and let's just listen to a little bit.
Yeah, at one level, right, you know, we're trying to win, you want as many people as possible. Right. At another level, there is this move among the most hawkish neoconservative elements of the conservative foreign policy community, the Max Boots, the folks who were
Robert Kagan.
Now John Negroponte, whose history in South America is just
enabling the death squads all over Central America.
Literally enabling death squads.
Yeah, he's a horrible person.
How should Clinton supporters, liberals, war skeptics feel about that?
I think people should speak out. I mean, the thing that Charlie Pierce, the point he made, is that they send out a statement about it. There are two different things going on here. Anyone, it's a free country. Anyone who wants to endorse her is free to endorse her.
It's a unilateral thing, You can't control.
That letter, 50 national security experts, the Times writes about it. It's positive for some people, negative for others. When the campaign chooses to send out a statement which touts the endorsement of someone like John Negroponte, I think the left is right to scream about it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's amazing. Now it's okay. Now Joan Walsh says it's okay for us to scream about it. Now it's okay for us to scream. Now it's okay. Yeah, now it's okay.
She says we should speak out about it.
Now Joan Walsh has decided that it's okay for other liberals to criticize. I was so worried we were never going to get permission. I was so worried that she was going to keep her head so far up her ass that we were never going to be allowed to criticize her. Thank God she yanked her head out of her ass long enough to realize that the person she's endorsing and has been endorsing full-throated is a frickin' warmonger who hangs around with war criminals and brags about it. Let's go see if there's a little bit more to this.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, right? I mean, she's come from the State Department. There should be people on her staff who say, John Negroponte.
Exactly.
Is this a guy who
That's right.
are there suburban women that are thinking, I'm not going to vote for
There's the Negroponte endorsement.
No, I think you've got to weigh these things.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, frankly, I mean, the thing that I think there's a danger for Clinton here is that it raises, Clinton did not exactly distinguish herself in the wake of the 2009 Honduras coup either, frankly. And so with a guy like John Negroponte, it's very hard not to make that type of connection.
Right.
They should get on the ball. This is an unforced error at best for them.
Yeah, and
Sam Cedar is correct. And I do not lump Sam then with the rest of the people sitting there because Sam has been consistent. He has been one of the guys saying, I'm holding my nose. He hasn't been smearing progressives. So, but he's right. He said it's an unforced error, this John Negroponte thing. You know what else is an unforced error? You know what else is an unforced error? Fracking, the Iraq War, Libya, Honduras, Glass-Steagall. You know what else is an unforced error? Picking Hillary Clinton as our nominee. That is also an unforced error. Her whole frickin' career is an unforced error. Not being on board for gay marriage until 2 minutes ago. That's also an unforced error. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, so there's this deep-seated hypocrisy that's very frustrating because these are the same people who said that any criticism of Hillary is sexist and wrong and we're crazy. And you know what Joan is saying right now is along the same lines as what Susan Sarandon said.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, that Hillary is surrounding herself with basically, you know, the most hawkish elements of our government.
I think there's a deeper question, right? I mean, which is that the sort of what the foreign policy direction of this all look like. I mean, when you look at domestic policy, those stakes are so nailed in the ground in some ways, right? I mean, like just the composition of what Congress will be, the Senate, the House, the platform, the promises, the constituency groups, all that stuff is sort of there holding it together, right? She can't suddenly be like, I'm going to build a wall.
And it's what she believes. It's what I believe she believes. So it's not a stretch for her.
But foreign policy is Russia invades Ukraine tomorrow, you know, on day one of the presidency.
Right.
That's when the president is at its most powerful, and who knows?
I don't know if you realize what Chris Hayes just said. He just said, you know, when it comes to domestic policy, there's so many entrenched groups, it's hard to move things. It's hard to make things happen domestically. But foreign policy, Hillary Clinton has carte blanche to do whatever she wants. And if Russia invades the Ukraine, did you see him? He goes, yes. That's what we've been saying. That's what half the Democratic Party has been screaming at the top of their lungs since last summer. And you know what you guys did? Sexist, misogynist, she's great, blah, blah, Bernie's as fine in the sky, blah, blah, blah. Trump. All that BS. And by the way, you also, all through the primary, was like, oh, no, she's been tested. 30 years, they've been coming at her. So Bernie's the one, as soon as they call him a socialist, he's going to crumble. And here they are now going, oh, my God, she's so horrible. She could start World War III. What the hell's going wrong? She's listening to guys like John Negroponte, guys who set up death squads in South America. This is who she's hanging out with. It gets better.
No, hold on.
I'm holding.
Hold on. Before we go there, not only is she hanging out with Negroponte, not only is she hanging out with Henry Kissinger, but she brags about it. It's a point of great pride for her that she has endorsements of these people because, like, Negroponte and Kissinger are not names that you want to toss out necessarily to get the average voter to vote for you. So she's doing this on purpose. I mean, this is a calculated move on the part of Hillary Clinton and her team. They want to send a message to, basically to the right, I'm with you guys.
Yes. I'm
with you guys. You can trust me. I will keep the war machine going. It's never going to stop. Not on my watch, it's not, because I follow the leadership of Negroponte and Kissinger. So that's what you have, and that's the reason why progressives like us are so upset by it. And let me just say one more thing. The reason why I've become more anti-Hillary over the last 6 months than I was before is actually because of Hillary supporters.
Yes.
Okay? It's not even because of Hillary Clinton, because I know where she stands.
Right.
She stands wherever the money is.
Yes.
Okay? She stands wherever the power is. But it's the failure and inability of Hillary Clinton supporters to call her out on anything. On anything that makes me worry about her becoming our president, because
they'll let her be horrible.
Right, because whether it's Glass freaking Steagall, okay? Glass-Steagall, which has been basically the bastion of our economic and banking regulatory mechanism, has been destroyed. And Hillary Clinton saying, I mean, her defense of not bringing back Glass-Steagall is absurd.
It's laughable.
It's ridiculous to say, no, we don't need it.
Yeah.
Look, who in this country thinks that we have too much oversight of the big banks, okay? Other than the big banks.
Right.
So we have Dodd-Frank, and we should also have Glass-Steagall. And then not only Glass-Steagall, but also Citizens United, as we talked about last week. So when Hillary says, corruption, what corruption? I take all this money. I'm not corrupt. Point to one example of me doing a quid pro quo corruption. These same so-called Democrats who would decry the Koch brothers and everyone else say, exactly, what corruption? There's no corruption. So it's Hillary Clinton's supporters that scare me more than anyone else, more than even Hillary, because they are willing to accept whatever she says and whatever she does because she's on our side.
Yep.
And that is, to me, the heart of authoritarianism.
Yes.
When you blindly support whoever your teammate is, okay? And as progressive and as critical thinkers, we should call out everyone. And Jimmy, I'm very happy and proud that you call out even Bernie Sanders, right? So Bernie's not a perfect human being. So when he does something that we disagree with, I want to call him out. I want to hold him to the fire and say, Bernie, that is not the right way. You should go in this direction. And Clinton supporters are either too cowardly, too stupid, or too craven to do that. And that's what scares me. That's the reason why I want to do this show.